Hi,
Hi.
welcome back. When looking at what DPS unit you want to pull for in Honkai Star Rail, you have basically an infinite number of choices, with each DPS unit obviously having their best and worst supports. Some people look at what they have in their accounts and what they want to pull for in the future before they pull, but I think there is one secret stat that not many people think about. A few days ago, Waveman made a really great video talking about support overlap between DPS units, and why you should try and get two units that don't share supports so that you can have a stronger account. And this idea is kinda inspired by that. Going forward, I'm going to use Acheron as a huge example for a large part of this video. While Feixiao and Acheron are very comparable units, each being really powerful in each of their best case scenarios, Feixiao usually takes the upper hand when people compare her and Acheron, because not only does she have more than twice the amount of viable support units in Acheron, but some of these support units are way better than Acheron's viable support units as well. And when I say a viable support unit, I don't mean a support unit you could use with a certain character, like you could use Pella with Fei Xiao or Hunt March with Acheron, but they wouldn't exactly be synergistic. A lot of this comes down to several factors, especially when discussing Acheron. In this video, let's talk about the hidden stat that nobody thinks about, and that is support quality and quantity. Before we start though, when you think about spending expendable income on getting new DPS units and their best supports, you should consider using lootbar.gg. If you've never heard of Lootbar, it's a platform that facilitates recharge transactions for hundreds of games, most notably Honkai Star Rail and Genshin Impact. Lootbar is cooperating with the Hoyoverse routing partner, allowing users to enjoy all official recharge events safely and securely. Lootbar supports international payments, offering up to a 23% cost advantage compared to in-game purchases by leveraging favorable exchange rates, which also avoids the Apple tax for iPhone and iPad users. Also, if you click my link in the description or the pinned comment, you will get a further 8% discount for your purchase. All you have to do is log into your Lootbar account, select the game you want and the pack that you want to purchase, enter your UID right here and the server region right here, and then click purchase after entering your payment details. And then the currency will be deposited to your account within a half an hour. They've also partnered with many big content creators you've definitely seen before, and they also have thousands of 5-star reviews. Customer service will also be right at your fingertips if you have any questions or concerns. Again, head to the link in the description and pinned comments where you can enjoy all of Lootbar's services as well as an extra 8% discount coupon. Now let's get back to it. So continuing with the Acheron example, a while ago during 2.6 or so, I made a best DPS list where Acheron was first and Fei Xiao was second. Most people agreed, but a lot of people also disagreed and called me too much of an Acheron glazer. Well, guess what? Good luck using Fei Xiao in the 3.1 MOC, you losers. Sorry. What I meant to say was, when looking at each of their styles, stats, self-buffs, and multipliers, Acheron easily comes out on top. However, Fei Xiao competed so well with her, not only because she was shielded very hard for the duration of 2.5 and 2.6, but because she just has way more supports than Acheron, and really good supports, while Acheron has Pella and Jiaocho, who really are her only best-in-slot supports, with others like Silverwolf and Gunaifen being there, and no real best-in-slot sustain units either. Even though Gallagher and Linsha can apply debuffs, they don't exactly work with Acheron. A real debuff healer would be a lot cooler. Meanwhile, Fei Xiao has Hunt March, Moza, Topaz, Robin, Aventurine, and Lingsha as her most viable supports, and even works pretty damn well with characters like Sunday and Jiaocho, even though they aren't the most valuable. Acheron needs to have Pella and another support at E0 S1, and if she uses a Harmony support without E2, she loses a lot of damage. I've seen a lot of people saying, Acheron players should stop coping for a dedicated Acheron support, Jiaocho is the dedicated Acheron support, meanwhile Fei Xiao has like 6. Harda already has all Erudition units, plus an AXA and 3.2 as well as RMC, Sunday, and Tribi, and the break units have their Super Break team. They even got a second Super Break applier. Point is, one unit is not enough, specifically for Acheron. While Herda could have still worked fine if they didn't shill her so hard because she can use literally any support unit, even Yukong and a 4-star unit would do something with her, Acheron's Strays obviously ties her down way too much, and without a lot of real Nihility supports dedicated to her, she loses a lot of damage. I'm interested to see if they will make any more Nihility units that work with Acheron still. Maybe since Cypher's Nihility, she could be an FUA unit that applies a debuff line FUA, which would apply a decent amount of stacks for Acheron and help her keep up with the newer units. Maybe if Silverwolf is buffed up enough, she actually becomes useful with Acheron in both on-element and off-element scenarios, thus fixing this issue for her, but I'm also worried about future units having this issue for a couple reasons. Right now, you're basically forced to pull for Jiaozhou if you want to keep your Acheron useful enough. However, he's only ever her best in slot despite still being useful with other DPS units, but you wouldn't really pull Jiaozhou to make Yunli and Fei Xiao stronger, you'd pull Robin for them because she's a lot stronger and a lot more versatile. She's best in slot for way more teams, while Jiaozhou is only best in slot for Acheron. Characters like that are pretty disappointing, and I'm worried Anaxa may be something like that too, where he's only ever best in slot in Herta teams and nowhere else. Again, you could use him in other teams, but most people would probably pull Tribi over Anaxa for someone like Argenti. Although I do like the idea of an Erudition dedicated support that makes Erudition units a lot more powerful, so I hope they don't fuck him up and reduce him to a big Herta team slave only. Now I'm bringing this issue up because I'm also worried about Castory suffering from the same issue. I'm like 100% sure that Sunday is going to be her best in slot support and 90% sure that Tribi will be the best in slot after him, but I'm also worried that no other supports will do what Sunday and Tribi can do for her because of the stuff that we think she's gonna do. Obviously, Robin could work effectively instead of Tribi, but that's just because she's Robin. I'm worried they won't give her as many best in slot support units and especially 4-star units that work with her like Fei Xiao, making her a lot more expensive and hyper-specific, just like Acheron is, but to a lesser degree if she doesn't have a choice like Acheron's Nihility trace. If she does have a choice like that, then I bet you her E2 is going to reduce the requirement for that trace. I'm surprised Herta wasn't the same honestly, but I digress. Now all of these examples of Acheron, Herta, and Castaways aren't really going to matter much because these characters are just really powerful. Acheron is just one that's kinda kicked by the devs for barely having any really good supports when compared to other characters, and so you really only have Jiaozhou as an option if you want to play Acheron effectively. However, another playstyle has the same issue and it's way more pronounced, and that is DOT. Now there is a rumored DOT character coming in a few updates, but I don't think they'll really solve the problem unless they were really OP. The problem with DOT is how little DOT characters are actually available in the game. When it comes to Acheron, you can just play whatever Nihility character you want to play with her, and you'll at least find some success, even with characters like Silverwolf, because for her she can be useful in single target scenarios, and Welt can even be used as a sustain if you have the right Eidolons and build for him, so you can use him as the sustain unit and have a Harmony support for the final slot, while still retaining Acheron's trace at A0S1. However, with DOT, there are only 2 5-star characters and only 3 4-star characters. Sure, there are characters like Serval and Boothill that some people have used with DOT, but they're either not nearly as good as other supports like Serval not being comparable to Sampo, or not actually a DOT character like Boothill is, since you're better off running an actual Boothill comp and not some cooked Bleedhill comp. They could easily release a few new 4-star units that are on the same level as Moza and Hunt March, and would make a dot a lot better. They could easily release an Abundance unit that applies DOT or increase enemy DOT vulnerability, and DOT would become a lot better. They could easily introduce a character that takes huge advantage of break DOTs, which would also make Ruan Mei a lot better for this archetype. Now why should any of this matter to you? How does this affect you at all? Well, obviously a character like Acheron is a lot more expensive than a character like Fei Xiao, and is a lot weaker with lower investments. So if Acheron were to get a rerun in 3.4 for example, and you don't have and don't want Jiaozhou, it'd be kinda stupid to pull for her because by that point, I believe Acheron without Jiaozhou is going to be pretty weak. The reason FUA is so strong as a mechanic is because it has so many different units and the hands down strongest support in the game, and another support unit in 3.1 that is also going to be insanely powerful while having an FUA as well. It's the same for Break being so strong, having 3 different dedicated 5-star DPS units, as well as Himiko being used in Break comps, having 2 super Break appliers, 2 dedicated healers, and another one of the strongest supports in the game, Ruan Mei. Bainon and Cypher are also rumored to be FUA units. I think they're focusing way too much on selling new characters and new playstyles, and not focusing on old playstyles that some veteran players really want. There's also Remembrance, which is basically going to feel really bad to play without Sunday. Everyone hates Aglaia because she needs either E1 or Sunday, and I have a very strong feeling Castoris is going to be the same because she's going to have less than 85 speed when you build her correctly. Sunday is crucial to both of these characters, and without him they're pretty cooked. Just like Acheron is cooked without Jiaozhou, and Kafka and Black Swan are just straight up cooked because they don't have a third dedicated support character. Character variety is incredibly important, so I hope they give us more varied characters in the future, especially as they're buffing up older units. They can easily make so many older units more powerful by introducing certain types of characters like an HP dedicated buffer for Blade, which would also sell incredibly well for Maide, which we thought was going to be Tribi, but turns out she doesn't directly buff HP for allies. A hits per action buffer for Danhang IL, a DOT abundance unit for Kafka, so on and so forth. I do have lots of hope for the future of this game after the announcement they made a few days ago, but I'm still a bit worried because it's Hoyoverse, so we'll see how it goes. That's it, thank you so much for watching. Make sure to like, comment and subscribe for more content like this in the future, and join the Express Rain Discord server for a very fun and lovely community to hang out with. Thank you again for watching, I will see you next time.